The 2000 Olympians continue their quest for rankings right here, swinging on the stars. And another cordial welcome to Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing. I'm your host, Arnie Rosenthal, joined by the Prince of the City, as I always am, the man, Steve Farhood. Steve, you had an opportunity to see Jerson Ravelo in his pro debut just 6 short weeks ago. Your impression?
Oh, Jerson Ravelo was fantastic fighting in New York on that HBO televised card. Scored 3 knockdowns inside of 1 round. He's the type of puncher I like, a tall, lanky guy, represented the Dominican Republic in the 2000 Olympic Games. This is definitely a fighter to watch, Arnie.
Well, and he's got all the Dominicans in the tri-state area behind him, and everybody's really big on Jerson Ravelo, except for a guy named Enroy, who's his opponent tonight, who we found out at the weigh-in, the southpaw, making his pro debut, so they have no tape on him and no preparation for a lefty.
Well, it was interesting. We informed Ravelo that he was fighting a southpaw. He didn't know. Just a few minutes ago. His reaction, who cares? His management felt a little differently. I think they wanted to know that they were with the southpaw. But to Ravelo, it doesn't matter. He's going to get the W tonight either way.
Going to be interesting to see how he adjusts and what Enroy brings to the table. And we'll be back with our first bout on Star Boxing after these words. Star Boxing is brought to you tonight by Gatorland, Orlando's fastest growing family attraction. Virkusboro Hotels. Next time you're in Vienna, try the Virkusboro. And by Vivo Restaurant Bar and Caterers, the finest Italian food in Queens. All right, making his way to the ring right now for his pro debut, Enroy, and what a tough pro debut it is. He's taken on, of course, Olympian Jerson Ravelo. Is he intimidated at all by the reputation of Ravelo? His thoughts at the weigh-in today.
Actually, based on my experience, it don't matter whether he come from Olympic or wherever he goes to. I just go in there and do my best and show him what I can do, So, I'm prepared for him.
All right. Enroy, and of course a southpaw, and we'll get a little bit more into that in a bit. Rating right now the ring walk of a member of the Dominican Republic Olympic team, Jerson Ravelo. Big rooting section here tonight, and you should hear them get fired up as soon as they can see him. Making his way through what we call the horse walk here at Yonkers Raceway. And I'll take this opportunity to welcome to ringside with us the #1 junior welterweight in the world. Talking, of course, about Hector Camacho Jr.
Junior time, thanks, Arnie.
Good to be here.
It's great being here. It was a great crowd with some interesting fights here.
Give me a little insight right now. Jerson Ravelo, his second pro fight. You remember back that far?
Well, Jerson, I was a great fighter. I haven't seen much of him. But, the Olympian speaks for itself. He's in tonight with a 1-0 record. Coming in tonight fighting, guys on debut tonight, which we should have a lot of butterflies. But, this guy been here before with Olympic experience, so interesting fight for tonight.
What was it like for you, though, way back when in your second fight? What kind of thoughts go through your mind at that point in time?
Wow, coming out of big shadow. I had big shoes to fill. It was always intriguing. I always had something to prove. So it was heavy, heavy thoughts, there was a lot of frustrations, a lot of jittery bugs, but, this is boxing, that's what I want to do. So I'm doing great.
All right, Ravelo making his way into the ring. Of course, he's 1-0 with that big stunning knockout back in January at Madison Square Garden. How did he feel about fighting in New York and on his home turf? And a little thought about Sydney as well. He had these thoughts today at the weigh-in.
It was great. First of all, I fought at the Garden. And how many fighters can say they made a pro debut at the Garden? And then I fought with the guys who I was fighting the amateurs with too. That made it great. And then I had a lot of fans out there. My family and a whole bunch of crowds just came out here to support me. So.
All right, Jerson Ravelo right now, and here's something that we need to bring up. Short notice opponent. He found out when he showed up tonight that he's fighting a southpaw, Hector.
Wow, if the southpaw know how to use the southpaw ability to his advantage in the awkward stance, it could give Jervin a kind of difficult time. But I mean, Jervin's seen everything coming through the amateur ranks, so he should be able to adapt to it.
All right, well, we'll see if it makes a difference or not. Mark Bureau's got the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe DeGuardia Star Boxing presents this contest, 4 rounds in the light heavyweight division. Your referee for this event is Tony Tirantano. Introducing the principals first. In the red corner to my left, wearing the red sequin trunks and weighing in at 168 pounds, undefeated in 1 professional bout. That win coming by way of knockout, El Hijo de la República Dominicana, and now making his home in Newark, New Jersey, Jerson Ravelo. His opponent in the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks with the gold trim. He weighs in at 169 pounds. He is making his professional debut and boxes out of Brooklyn, New York. Here is Enroy Tony. Tony, 4 rounds, light heavyweights.
Want a big, clean fight. Protect yourselves at all times. Obey my command. Touch them up. Good luck.
All right, Enroy Tony out of Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, originally from the island nation of St. Vincent in the Caribbean. And we're going to see right now if, in fact, what we were told is to be true. If he comes out popping that right-hand jab, that, in fact, he is a southpaw. 32 years of age, making his pro debut a little late, and there it is.
And it's funny, Arnie, when we told Ravelo that he was in with the southpaw, he said, so what? I don't care. It's a good attitude, as long as he knows what to do.
Hector, you've been on the other side of that. What, though, if anything, can Ravelo do to take away that advantage?
Well, keep his left leg outside always, and try to stop. They said the jab for southpaws wouldn't work, and it could be effective if you know how to use it. And keep the right hand busy. Do not give this guy space.
Oh, and he already caught a big left on the chin, not expecting it to come from that angle.
Both guys are physically fit.
Not a bad-looking fighter for a 32-year-old pro debut, is Tony. What about moving in on the inside a little bit and taking away that advantage?
But it always works. You always caught the southpaw. Southpaw look for distance to punch and land the left.
And both fighters go down. And you see this a lot in lefty-righty matchups, tripping over each other's feet. Tony Tirantano talking to both fighters, giving the warning for roughhousing.
This is all part of the learning process when you're a baby in boxing. Ravelo's first fight, there were 3 knockdowns scored already by this point in the first round. Now he's fighting a guy who's carrying his right hand low, he's a southpaw, and he's very physical and pushy and tough on the inside. He's got to deal with it. He's got to learn how to deal with it.
Well, the traditional way to fight the southpaw is to throw the right hand lead, but if you've been trained to throw that left jab first and all of a sudden you haven't had southpaw sparring, it's got to be very upsetting, and right now it looks like it's a little upsetting for Ravelo.
It sure does.
You see they're starting to step on each other's feet a little bit, which is common with an orthodox and southpaw fighter.
Well, he just threw a big right hand, though, from the outside. That's better than nothing.
Now Ravelo goes southpaw.
Predictably sloppy first round, as lefty-righty matchups often are, especially when one of the fighters had no idea he was fighting a southpaw, that being Ravelo.
Now Ravelo's moving to his right, Junior. That's not right, right? You want to move to your left if you're fighting a southpaw? So your foot is outside the southpaw's lead foot?
Well, see, this guy's coming in fairly awkward with your southpaw. So Ravelo's just basically trying to get some space, trying to set him up. I mean, look, he's having a difficult time with southpaw.
Boy, styles are everything, because Ravelo looked devastating in his first pro fight at Madison Square Garden. Against a guy like this, it's hard to look real good unless he lands a big right hand when the guy's coming in.
And that's what he's trying to do right now, but it's surely getting sloppy. And one more time, referee Tirantano trying to take control as we come to the end of the first. 2, scheduled 4-rounder. Dominican Olympian Jerson Ravelo
Good left hand.
having his hands full right now with unannounced southpaw Enroy Tony. Guys, how did you see that first round? Kind of tough to score.
Kind of tough to score, yes, but I like what Tony's doing. I mean, his pro debut, first off, the southpaw, which is awkward enough. Then he find a rough, tactical fight. That's the kind of fight that he needs to have. Try to get Mr. Jerson off his game.
Hector might understand then that you gave Tony the first round?
I wouldn't go that far. It's hard to judge the first round.
Steve?
Whoa! Well, I gave Ravelo the first round. I thought he landed the better punches, but in the first 10 seconds of this second round, Tony landed 2 straight lefts. Ravelo hasn't answered yet. Gary Gittleson, Ravelo's manager, screaming from ringside, take a point away from that guy to the referee.
Well, I think they're thinking right now that they may need everything that they can get.
Well, one thing I don't understand, Ravelo and Junior, I want to get your impression again. Ravelo's still moving to the right. And that means his lead foot is going to be inside the southpaw's lead foot.
He's walking into his left hand, he sure is.
Watch for a point taken away, and there it is. Charantano taking a point away from Enroy Tony, and I happen to think it's a little premature myself, but there it goes.
You think, Arnie, maybe he was affected or intimidated by the manager screaming from outside the ring? Could be.
Very possible.
Maybe the referee want to take charge of the fight.
Yeah.
Before it gets any worse.
Charantano really in the face of Tony, and I don't know that it's necessarily his fault. I think you've got a very roughhouse wrestling match in there, both fighters tripping over each other's feet. And as you pointed out, Steve, Ravelo certainly circling the wrong way.
There's a good shoulder butt by Tony. He is a physical guy, and you look at his build, his upper body. He's huge, man. He's strong.
So Tony cannot wait for Ravelo to get off. He gotta stay busy, keep the pressure on, and keep roughing him up.
Right now, warning goes out to Ravelo. Oh, and Ravelo gets caught, and Tony winds up on the floor. And now they're gonna wipe. Tony taking his time. He's not getting up quick, and no knockdown, of course.
Now, if I'm Tony's corner, I'm screaming about a point deduction for that.
What's fair is fair.
Even if he doesn't deserve it, the corner should be doing that to get a psychological edge.
Tony's corner, though, very quiet at this point.
And Ravelo still moving mostly to the right into that power punch of Tony.
Nice right hand uppercut on the inside by Ravelo, caught Tony. Not the same fight, obviously, that we saw at Madison Square Garden for Ravelo.
Hey, boxing fans, come out for live boxing. Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing presents Rockin' Fights. For ticket information, go to starboxing.com or ticketmaster.com. See some of the best young fighters. Star Boxing, Rockin' Fights, it's a knockout.
Second half of the scheduled 4-rounder, and in spite of a very good showing at this point by Enroy Tony, with the point taken away, he's dug a pretty big hole for a 4-rounder. I've got the fight 20-17 for Ravelo.
Yeah, in a 4-round fight, when they take a point away, that's like giving a round away. You only have 3 other rounds. It's pretty tough to win.
Finally looking to move to his left a little bit.
Now Ravelo's
Ravelo.
finding a comfort zone now on the outside.
Hector, obviously you're used to fighting right-handers. Did you ever have a situation where you found yourself in with another southpaw with no notice?
Yes, I have. Recently, in the Madison Square Garden show, I did. It's very frustrating finding a southpaw. You're not used to the punches coming at kind of angles and kind of punches.
Now, what did your corner tell you to do to adjust when you found out?
You come and relax, see what he has, count him out, but keep the jab in front. The jab always bother. That's something Ravelo should be throwing right now. Keep the jab busy and keep Tony from coming in.
Now, Junior, you have to know how to fight southpaws because two of the best fighters in your division, Sean Bay Mitchell, Zab Judah, they're both southpaws.
Yes, they are.
You might fight them someday.
Thanks to my father, I have learned to deal with southpaws.
That's right.
Don't start no rumors now.
All right.
Another wrestling match in the corner there. This is all part of the learning process for young Jerson Ravelo. I think he would have liked to learn to fight a southpaw, though, with a little bit more notice. So we're halfway gone here in the third. Remember, a point taken away in round 2 for wrestling, holding, and everything else from Enroy Tony. Ravelo's been warned himself at least 2-3 times. No point taken away from him, though. Wild shot from the outside, telegraphed by Tony.
I'm surprised Tony's not working the body. Just love the movement of Ravelo.
Yeah, really, both guys should be working the body because every time Ravelo cocks that right hand to throw it, all Tony does is bend at the waist and grab. Not much Ravelo can do about that.
Well, Tony's almost fighting as if he never expected to fight a right-hander tonight. He's falling all over the place. His balance isn't good, and he's turning it into a wrestling match as well.
Now, he's an ugly fighter, and he's making it into an ugly fight, which actually might be his best chance to win.
Another warning by Chirantano to Ravelo. Oh, and Ravelo catches Tony walking in just at the end.
A little showboat at the end.
Can't get enough of Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing? Download the Star Boxing TV app or check out our Roku channel to watch exclusive content and classic fights. Every punch, every knockout, every screen. The Star Boxing TV app gives you exclusive access to every moment of Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing. Available on Apple, Android, and Roku. Just search Star Boxing to get in the ring.
Fourth and final round. 2000 Olympian Jerson Ravelo in the red shorts, making his pro debut. Enroy Tony, he's in the blue and gold. Been no knockdowns on the fight officially, but both guys have been on the floor quite a few times in a fight that I've got 30-26 right now for Ravelo. I would say Tony needs a knockout to win. Arnie Tokyo Rosenthal along with Steve Farhood and Hector Camacho Jr. A man who, of course, knows a lot about lefty-righty matchups. But you're fortunate enough to be on the positive side of it.
Yes.
And I have to compliment Junior. He's showing such restraint and calm and cool in between rounds when the round call girls are in there shaking everything. And you're staying there very calm. I got to give you credit.
Oh, I hadn't noticed. Do we have round card girls here today?
I know.
Another stellar job with the round card girls here.
See, that's the best chance Tony has. They're working inside.
But it may be a little too late. That's the problem with 4-round fights. Ravelo gets another warning right now, this time for pulling behind the head. Keep in mind, a point taken away in round 2 from Enroy Tony.
Ravelo seems determined to just move his hands this round.
Oh, he just walked into a big left hand, and it looks like a little blood coming right now from the lip.
Bottom lip, yeah.
Of Jerson Ravelo. Tony having the best round of the fight.
Maybe a little bit too late.
Nice uppercut on the inside by Ravelo.
Boy, Ravelo's got fresh legs for the 4th round. No problem going 4 for him.
Very difficult pro debut for Enroy Tony, having to fight Jerson Ravelo with the pedigree that he comes in with at the same time. Very difficult second fight with an unannounced southpaw for Jerson Ravelo. Hector, what's the proper pacing at this point, in your opinion? He's fighting his second 4-rounder. At what point does he go up to 6 or even 8 rounds?
Well, he looks comfortable in the 4-rounders, so he looks comfortable here doing 4-rounders. You know, probably give him 2 or 3 more fights. Depends how his management feels, and move up slowly, gradually.
Both fighters letting loose here near the end, and it's Tony that needs a knockout to win unofficially on our scorecards. And that's the end. Jerson Ravelo looking over to his cheering section, but I'm positive that he's glad this one is over.
Well, really, that was ugly, but Ravelo did box well the second half of that 4th round. I think he took that round, and he'll get this
decision. It looked to me
decision.
like he had figured out the southpaw style finally in the second half of the 4th. And it can take that long, especially if you haven't had any southpaw sparring whatsoever. Nevertheless, I've got Ravelo winning the fight handily, 40-35 unofficially on my card.
I agree. I think he did in the second half of the fight, he adjusted to the southpaw, and he did a great job. No problem, thank you.
It's got to be, at that point in your career, you've got your family out here, you've got your rooting section. You know, you kind of feel like somebody put a ball and chain around your leg for your performance when you have to do what he just did?
Oh, that's great. The support is fine. We need to be focused in there. I've seen him a couple of times look over, flirt around with the crowd. You got to stay focused. A good, young-looking prospect in a tough second fight.
And right now I see his manager, Gary Gittleson, complaining to the referee, Tony Charantano, and I don't know exactly what Gary's complaining about. He did take a point away, and at the same time, he didn't take anything away from Ravelo, who had been warned profusely himself.
That's a manager's job, take care of his fighters.
Gary's saying you took 1 point away, you should have taken 2. Well, perhaps that's the case. But a lot of that caused just by the lack of preparation to fight a southpaw. But we're going to find out if the people at ringside saw it the way we saw it down here. Mark Bureau's got the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Steve Weisfeld scores the bout 38-37. Judge Julie Letterman sees it 39-36. And Judge Melvina Lathan scores it 40-35, all to the winner by unanimous decision, Jerson Ravelo.
Well, there you have it, 38-37. And Hector, if they don't take that point away, we've got a majority decision here tonight.
Surprisingly.
One judge seeing it a lot closer. Yeah, and we saw it. Other judge seeing it 39-36 and 40-35. Nevertheless, Jerson Ravelo will remain undefeated. He improves to 2-0. Enroy Tony losing his pro debut. He's 0-1. The real question, though, is what was going on in his mind with the southpaw. A lot tougher than he anticipated. Steve Farhood is in the ring. He's going to try to grab Jerson Ravelo, who right now hamming it up for the cameras at ringside. Ray Bailey taking some shots. And one more conversation with referee Tony Charantano. They're not going to let him off the hook. Okay, Steve's got Jerson. Take it away, Steve.
Jerson Ravelo for your second pro fight. That was kind of ugly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. That's me. They told me that the guy was right-handed.
I told you he was a
And
southpaw
then he told
early
me tonight when I first came in he was a southpaw. But hey, I got the victory. That's why
You fought a really good 4th round. That, to me, clinched it. But it seemed to me that technically you kept moving to your right. That seems like the wrong way to fight a southpaw, no?
Yeah, well, see, I haven't been practicing to fight a southpaw. You know, when you guys told me that I was fighting a southpaw, my mind was kind of disappointed. He told me, you know, if you don't want to fight, you don't have to. But I said, no, I'll take the fight. You know what I'm saying? When I fought at the Olympics, I fought a southpaw, and I did pretty good. So, you know, this guy was a wrestler tonight. But hey, I still took care of him.
Well, your manager was also disappointed that the referee only took 1 point away. Should the referee have done more?
He should have done more, way more. I mean, the guy, at one point, the guy, when we clinched up, he bit me. And I told him.
Where'd he bite you?
You can't see it.
On the neck, huh?
Yeah, he had the mouthpiece on. But I told him, he bit me. He just bit me, and he didn't do nothing about it.
So not only do you didn't know you were fighting the southpaw, you didn't know you were fighting Mike Tyson.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to bite my neck.
So we can presume that for your 3rd pro fight, you won't be fighting the left-hander.
No, but I'll fight anybody. I mean, if I have to fight a southpaw, I just get ready for it. You know, I didn't know, so that's why I wasn't getting ready for this fight. But if I had to, I'd definitely be ready for next time.
Jerson Ravelo still undefeated, but he had a tough time against a very, very physical fighter tonight. Jerson, congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
We'll be back to Arnie.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Left-hander and a vampire, all on the same night for undefeated Jerson Ravelo. More boxing to come on the Star. Stay with us. We're swinging.
Vampire, huh?
A look at our new sponsor on the mat, Steve, Gatorland, and it's down in Orlando, and it's an unbelievable place. I was down there with my kids, and they really enjoyed the show. There's like 100 gators there. I liked it as much as Disney World and SeaWorld.
All right, I got to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
I've always wondered this. What is the difference between an alligator and a crocodile?
Well, I know this much. They both can bite. And I know that in Florida is the only place which is a habitat for both of them. But alligators in particular, 90% muscle.
Maybe we should have one of those mascots up here one time.
Not a bad idea. Let's ask Gatorland to bring him up here. This guy, Mike Heilman, who's the top guy, he actually wrestles with them. Maybe they can come on our show. All right, back at ringside on the Star. You know, with all the things that went on in that fight between the southpaw and the biting, I think in retrospect, we got to say that he showed a lot of poise and didn't go crazy.
Yeah, he sure did. Thanks to all those amateur experience he had. I mean, he kept his poise, kept in there. A difficult fight, but got the job done. Had a good time.
Steve, almost a majority decision on one scorecard. If that point's not taken away, one of the judges saw the fight even.
Yeah, 1 point on one card, 5 points for Ravelo on another card. So it shows you it was a hard fight to judge because Ravelo didn't do much offensively. He wasn't able to. I still think he's a great prospect. I don't hold this fight against him at all.
All right, Hector, quickly, what's coming up for you?
Well, we're looking at April 22nd, Fox Sports Show. It's a tune-up show, which not a tune-up in boxing, but a tune-up show for Jesse James Playhouse. Looking at July 7th, Corleone, HBO.
Looking forward to it. For Steve Farhood, Hector Camacho Jr., I'm Arnie Tokyo Rosenthal. Good night, Carrie. I'm coming home.